Okay, so I just opened up DaVinci Resolve and wow, I can't believe it. DaVinci Resolve Studio 19 or DaVinci Resolve 19 is finally here. Went to the website to the free download section and it's available in both the free version and also the studio version, which is what I have. It seems like it's just been forever since DaVinci Resolve 19 was announced. It was in beta and well, it's finally here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and download and install a DaVinci Resolve 19. All right, so here we are with DaVinci Resolve 19. Now, I do have DaVinci Resolve Studio 19, and so some of the features that I talk about, it might not be available in the free version. So for anybody who's asking, I'm not really sure because there's so many features. But the first thing that I noticed is there were a whole bunch of new features on the cut page. I myself do not use the cut page very often, but just know that if you do use this, then you know there's going to be a lot of new improvements. Where I spend most of the time is in the edit page. And in this case, right away, there are numerous improvements to the audio portion. So if you go here to audio, you'll notice that there is this new thing, or maybe it's an improvement over it called dialogue leveler. And so this is really helpful, especially if you're the type of person who has multiple audio tracks, or maybe you have your voice along with music. And so this allows you to actually basically adjust that automatically. So for example, most of the times if you do have voice and music, you do want your voice to be louder and then the background music to be lower. And as you can see here, there is background reduction, and then there's reduce loud dialogue, and then there's lift soft dialogue. So it does give you some options there. And I also understand that the voice isolation has gotten better. And there's this new thing called Music Remixer. This is really, really cool. So, what Music Remixer will allow you to do is basically, if you had some music on here, you could make adjustments to it: voice, drums, bass, other guitar. This is really awesome. So, if you're somebody who uses a lot of music in your videos, this might be a really, really great feature. And as far as I understand, these are like studio only features because it does use a lot of AI. And so that's the first thing is in the overall improvements to audio. And then another thing is in the color page. So if I actually go here to my color page, there's this new feature that is available in the studio version, or actually enhancement, called defocus background. Now this was here previously, but this one offers some improvements. And what this allows you to do is basically you could blur your background where there wasn't one. And previously, the defocus background would focus on the background first instead of the foreground object. So I'm going to zoom in a lot further to show you how cool this is. So as you can see, the background is blurry and the foreground, my face, is not. And so I have an artificial blurry background. So if I turn this off, hopefully you can see that this is much clearer. This is how things look like. And then when I applied it, bam, there it is. And it uses it in combination with the magic mask. So you just like put this over the object that you don't want to be blurred, and there it is. It'll put a mask on this, and then it defocuses or adds a artificial blurry background. And there's a lot of options that you could put on here, including anamorphic. So this is really, really cool. And then other last things that I've noticed that I really am appreciative of is more transitions. And this is something that I think a lot of people use. And there's so many transitions already. But here are some of the ones that I noticed that are new. There's this thing called elastic rubber. That's really cool. There's also this one called page curl that I think a lot of people are familiar with. Let me see if I can find it. There it is, page curl. So there it is. Now it's built in. And there's many other ones here as well. Some that I have not seen before. And there's just RGB splitter. I don't know if that was here before, but this looks new to me. There's just a lot here, and I am really happy that DaVinci Resolve continually adds these type of transitions. This is really, really cool. These are video transitions. It looks really awesome. And some of these transitions were ones that were only available for like paid plugins, but now they're built in. And then the other thing they added is more titles. It's always nice to have titles on here so that really allows you to improve the overall look of your videos with titles. And some of these, like this ribbon text, I think this is new. I don't remember seeing this before. There is retro chrome. There is this neon flicker right here. That's going to be a cool one to have. And then there's also some other ones down here as well. There's this superhero text, but there's this one down here called test fly through. I don't think this was here before. And there's some other ones down here. There's vertical reveal. There's a lot. Let's just say that. And some of these might have already existed, but these are some of the ones that I noticed. And it's always awesome to have all of these. And these are just some of the ones that I've noticed, you know, that DaVinci Resolve provides in terms of features. And there's so many other things that they provide here in DaVinci Resolve 19. But I am super happy that we finally have DaVinci Resolve 19, and it continually gets better, and it is still my favorite video editor. Whether you are a beginner or professional, DaVinci Resolve is probably going to offer everything that you need. And beyond that, it's also the best color grading tool in the business. It also offers the ability to do your audio adjustments here, and also add other effects and compositing here. So a really, really wonderful tool. And you can use the free version, and I think this is going to be more than enough for most people. But if you wanted more out of it, I would highly recommend the studio version. There is no monthly fee. It's just a one-time fee at this point, and you get all the updates to DaVinci Resolve. So DaVinci Resolve 19, thumbs up. I cannot wait to get into this even further. Okay, so this next update is pretty huge for me because I think for a lot of people, they probably don't think about this, but every single day when you're using your computer, your phone, and most electronic devices, there's one thing that all of them need, and that is an operating system. And for most people that use Microsoft Windows or Apple's macOS, I myself have been using Linux for about 15 years, and my favorite Linux distribution or different version of the operating system is Linux Mint. And this one is a pretty big release. This is Linux Mint 22, or also known as Wilma. And to be honest with you, with every Linux Mint release, it's really not a huge difference in terms of what you see, but there's always improvements underneath it all. And I'm going to go over some of the main things that I see that is useful. Besides improved hardware support, there's also this online accounts. Now, this is something that has been available in Linux Mint before, but if we actually go here, there should be under preferences, if I'm not mistaken. And there it is. There's online accounts. So if you have multiple online accounts, you can manage all of it here. And then one thing that is pretty big for me is the software manager. This is where basically your app store, this has been around in Linux way before there was an app store in Apple or Android. And so software manager now opens up a lot quicker. Now, one thing that they've added that I don't necessarily like is under flat packs. Now it will not show flat packs unless they're actually verified. So how do you see that? If you go here under your preferences, there's this thing called show unverified flat packs. So by default, it turns this off. So what that means is, say for example, you have some software like Chrome or something, okay, that has a flat pack version, then you will first of all probably not see that here. Let me show you one that you could actually see. And this is where I'm going to go into some of the negatives of this. So here is theme, and here's the default system package. But if you go down here, you can look at the flat pack and see now it says unverified. Whereas before, it would show unverified versions of it, meaning that it is not officially verified yet, or it's not maintained possibly by the company who created the software. It could be community verified. And to be honest with you, I don't like this feature because now there is some software in here that doesn't show up anymore unless first I turn on show unverified, but also I actually have to search for it. I don't see it in here. For example, I don't see the flat help version or flat pack version of Steam. And there's also another software that I use, Make MKV. See here, and I have this installed. I use this to actually rip and burn my Blu-rays in 4K. So it says unverified. And the thing is, I don't see it here under Flatpak unless I actually know the name of it. So I'm not the biggest fan of this change. I understand why they did it. It's for security reasons. And so I probably spent a little bit too much time there. But the software manager is something that I use a lot. And I am happy that it is much faster. It is cleaner. but the whole flat pack thing, I'm not a big fan of. And then other improvements are for more high resolution support. You know, if you have a nice 4K monitor or something, that's really helpful. But other than that, it's basically improvements as usual. Linux Mint is one of those that just continually improves, but it's more incremental, even though there are some big stuff happening underneath. But it just makes it the best all around operating system for me. And in terms of a Linux distribution, Linux operating system, it is simply the best operating system, in my opinion, because it just works. And unlike Microsoft Windows, where they're constantly spying on you, there's updates that break your system. I'm just not a fan of Microsoft Windows. This doesn't have any of that. And also, even if you have Apple Mac OS, even though that is a much better operating system than Microsoft Windows, I still prefer using Linux. And that's about the main things that I could say about it. This is something that we use every single day. And I really enjoy using this as my operating system because it just allows me to use my computer. It doesn't get in my way and it doesn't constantly spy on me. So those are the two big changes, big improvements for me today. First with Davinci Resolve 19 and now with Linux Mint 22. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments there below, and I'll see you on another episode. Hey geeks, if you are a brand new creator and you simply want something easy to get you started, well, I got something for you with my Creator Starter Kit. This is a super simple step-by-step guide that's going to take you from having no channel to developing your very first YouTube channel, along with ideas, thumbnail designs, and other creator tips, including marketing. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and get started creating.